Good evening and welcome to the 11th Regulators and Policymakers Retreat being organized by the Independent Power Producers Association of India at the Taj Fort Aguada Beach Resort in Goa. And with me is Mr. Raghavendra Mehta, Senior Executive Vice President of Reliance Infra Mumbai. Welcome to the retreat, Mr. Mehta.
Thank you.
Sir, we'd like to know Reliance Infra is in one of the most exciting power markets, that of Mumbai, which is one of the oldest power markets in terms of generation, transmission, distribution, goes back many, many years, pre independence too, and is currently in the midst of a fair amount of novel restructuring. Which side you take is what we'd want to know. Is this something interesting? First, we'd like to know what is really happening in the power market, which is of interest to consumers all across India and to regulators and policymakers and other decision makers in the power sector.
Well, it's nice, Raghavendra, talking to Raghavendra. It was nice to be here and participate in the conference you organized. You talked about Mumbai and its power scenario. I would say Mumbai, as of now, is probably leading in a lot of reformative happenings. I won't say implementation because it's happening by coincidence. For example, the more than one distribution licensee. In our area, we have Tata Power Company. In BST area, again, Tata Power Company. So there are two parallel licensees existing, which is unique. I don't think anywhere in the country it is so. Yes, it has its own consequences because there are a lot of issues which the regulator is still to decide. For example, we have given our network to be used by Tatas. Now, the tariff structure in Mumbai is so done that there is a self-balancing mechanism by cross-subsidizing consumer to consumer. We have about 21 lakh consumers who are below 300 unit consumption per month, and they are highly subsidized by the remaining 6 lakh consumers. So out of our total, about 27 lakh consumers. Now, if the regulator does not decide appropriately the cross subsidy, which is going to the low end consumers, and the high end consumers shift to another licensee, the consequence would be imbalance in the return or the revenue which is generated. And in effect, what would happen is that there will be no option but to increase the tariff of the low end consumers. Now, it's a very sensitive issue. Mumbai, about 60% of Mumbai lives in what they call as slums or underdeveloped, unorganized developed areas. Now, the wherewithal to increase the tariff so sharply seems to be very, very unlikely, and therefore the cross subsidy will have to be decided by the regulator. We hope that they decide an appropriate cross subsidy surcharge so that it does not burden the low-end consumers. Mind you, it is already provided in the Act that when an open access is given, there should be a cross-subsidy, there should be additional surcharge, whatever is applicable. So it will be within the framework of the law that the cross-subsidy and these things should be decided. Now, that was unique as far as the happening of the reforms in Mumbai. If we talk about Mumbai as a network, and I'm saying Mumbai as a whole, including ours, it has a ring main system created whereby there is an ability to shift the load in case any equipment is faulty, and thereby the consumer gets electricity restored much faster than it would be one-to-one wire, that kind of a thing. So that's a unique feature of Mumbai. The second,
which must be quite expensive because instead of having a serial connection or what you'd call, you're having something like a parallel connection where you set up a ring and you can, divert power supply. Is that correct?
You see, if you look at the lifestyle of Mumbai, I think electricity is one of the basic needs. Be it education, be it your, vertical buildings, and therefore the minimum outage is what the consumer in Mumbai wants. And therefore, this has been built over a period of time. It's not a new phenomena. So that's about criticality of or the specific character of Mumbai network. Now, if we talk about our area, which is the suburbs of Mumbai, it spreads on 384 square kilometer. We have a 2.7 million consumer base. As I mentioned, 2.1 million consumers are those which are living in smaller areas, which are consuming less than 300 units. The greatest challenge which we are in the process of completing is sourcing of power, because now the regulator wants that all long-term and medium-term power should be procured through competitive bidding process. So we are hopeful that we will be able to get powers at much more competitive price, which would ultimately benefit the consumers by reduction in tariff. You see, if you look at the component of tariff, it consists of about 80%, which is cost of power, which is a pass-through. You take from generator, pay to him, you pass it on to the consumers. So there is no margin left into the system. About 3% represents that 16% equity return, which comes to the utility as its profit, because the commission follows a 70-30 debt equity ratio. So it's only on the 30% that you get 16% return.
So does this mean that, say for example, every 10 rupees that the consumer is paying, that it's only out of 3 rupees that you get your service
It's
return on
actually
equity?
less than 3%.
Less than how much would that be?
3% of 10.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's 3 rupees. Sorry, it's 3 rupees. Yeah. So we get about 3 rupees. 8 rupees goes to the power generator, and the balance predominantly represents our O&M cost, and that capital expenditure like depreciation and all those kinds of elements. So that's a broad structure. Now, if you take an example of 10 rupees, if my total cost is 10 rupee, what happens is this 2.1 million customers, they get power at less than 10 rupees, maybe 6 rupees, 7 rupees, 5 rupees. These are just hypothetical numbers, they are not actual number representation. And the balance 6 lakh would pay more to cover up this gap, which is what is called cross subsidy. It's again unique in Mumbai that the cross subsidy is self-balancing mechanism. Otherwise, at other places, it's most of the places the government subsidizes these kind of loads.
So sir, what this means is, if I've understood correctly, we started off with saying that Tata Power is now selling power through Reliance wires to the customers in Mumbai, to certain customers in Mumbai. This is like saying that Jet Airways is now flying Kingfisher passengers, though it is operating its own aircraft, and it's normally unheard of in normal business practice, but it is happening, right? So we'd like to thank Reliance for allowing this to happen and for being generous and coming out in favor of this experimentation. However, what is now happening is that in the long term, it is required that every person who is desirous of supplying to a consumer and giving him consumer choice should set up his own parallel network, which could be pretty difficult in a congested city like Bombay. For example, you have now 6 to 8 entities bidding for franchises, etc. Now, if everyone were to build 6 to 8 power lines, do you think it would be economical?
If you ask me, no. Typically, if you look at internationally, there is a separation of wire and retail. Unfortunately, in our act, that separation has not been envisaged. Therefore, there was a recently opinion taken from Solicitor General. He says, as the law stands, either you supply on your wires or you use an open access. These are the only two ways you can do it. You cannot split the license as of now till the law changes.